4-8 is called the real numbers, and this section is mostly about a vocabulary review. So please take notes. I want to make sure that you are comfortable with the vocabulary and what each of the different categories means for numbers. So let's get started. Real numbers, they can either be rational or irrational. Rational would be fractions, okay, regular fractions, improper fractions, could be negative fractions, can also be decimals, positive decimals, negative decimals. All of these are rational. Integers are also rational, and the integers are numbers like -1, -11, 0, 3, 14. All the numbers on our number line are integers. The whole numbers are the numbers are 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. They're all the counting numbers, whole numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and on and on. Integers would be whole numbers and their opposites, so -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Rational are the fractions and the decimals. If you can write a number as a fraction, it is rational. Another example of a rational number would be square root 36, because the square root of 36 is positive 6 or negative 6, so that is rational. Irrational are the square roots that are not perfect squares. So like square root of 35, that would be irrational. The square root of 3, that would be irrational. Negative square root of 2 would be irrational. Okay, if it's not a perfect square and it's under a square root, it is irrational. Everything else is pretty much a rational number, and then you can classify it even further as an integer or maybe even as a whole number. So that's what we're doing. We're classifying numbers. So you'll be given an example 1. So here's example 1a, square root 5. It's a square root, and it's not a perfect square root. That means this is an irrational number. And that's it. That's all that you would have to do for example 1a. Oh, it's real. Okay, but almost all of these are. B is -12 and 75 hundredths. Okay, this is a decimal. It's not a square root. So this is real. It's rational. And it's not an integer, so I stop at rational. B, -12 and 75 hundredths, can be written, classified as two things, real and rational. For C, I have square root 16 divided by 2. This one, there's a step in between because I need to rewrite this, if possible, in an easier format. So the square root of 16, what number multiplied by itself is 16, and that would be 4. The square root of 16 is 4 over 2. It would be plus or minus, but we'll just consider the positive case. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So that means root 16 divided by 2 is real, it's rational, 2 is an integer, and it's also a whole number or a counting number. So this one has 4 classifications. Square root 15, that's not a perfect square. That means this is irrational. E and F I put together. Oops, this is supposed to be the other way around. Okay, so in E I have 3 divided by 0. I can never divide by 0. Okay, that's impossible. I cannot do this ever. If you divide by 0, it's undefined. Because it is undefined, we say it is not real. Okay, we cannot divide something into 0 parts. You can't make anything disappear. So that is undefined. It is not a real number. In F, I can divide 0 things 4 times. Everyone just gets 0 things. So 0 divided by 4 is 0. And 0 is real. It's an integer. And it's also a whole number. Oh, it's also rational. I forgot to write that one. So if 0 is in your denominator, like e, you can't do that. That's not real. But if 0 is in your numerator, it's okay. 0 is a real number. It's a rational number. It's an integer. And it's a whole number. Example G, square root of 1/9. The square root of 1/9. Well, how do I get 9 with something squared? It would be 1/3 squared. So the square root of 1/3 squared is 1/3. 1/3 is a fraction. Okay, it's rational. It's real. And it's not an integer. It's not a whole number. So it's real and it's rational. That would be its classification. All right, it's your turn in the Google form. Please do number 2, number 5, number 6, and number 8. We'll practice a couple of these in word problems tomorrow, and then we'll be practicing a lot more with square roots. All right, everyone, have a good night. Bye.